If you want to do that with your clients, that's fine. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying I don't. So if that's something that you want to do with your clients, fantastic, do it. It's just not something that I typically do. And again, remember, here's the fun thing, man. We've really only gone through two, and it's 22 minutes long already. Man, that's nuts. So I'm actually going to go ahead and jump out of this video because this video is way too long. People aren't just going to sit here and watch this whole thing. Um, yeah, the software is powerful. It's very, very powerful. Um, no, let's just quickly go through it. Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to just walk through Evoto. So they've reached out to me. I've done a video on it already. This is a sponsored video, but I did still pay for the software. And first things first, I actually want to make a correction that I said in the video prior. So I'm going to go to their page real quick. So when I initially got it, I was and it's my fault. I completely read it wrong. I was under the impression that it was the package that I bought was 800 credits per month. It's not. It's actually 800 credits for the term of the subscription, which is 1 year. So that definitely changes things a little bit. So as you can see, you've got $89 for 1 year, and it's good for 800 credits. You can support up to 2 devices, and your credits will roll over at the end of the subscription. So again, I don't know what I was reading, but I was reading that it was 800 credits per month, and I was like, dude, there's no way I'm going to go over 800 credits per month. So I was like, yeah, let me get that one. So looking at it now, I could see that maybe I'm going to need to bump it up a little bit. You can see the monthly prices. It actually does pay it all in one lump as opposed to monthly. But so I'm paying like $7.40. I think I had a discount code or whatever, so maybe it's a little bit cheaper. But $11, $20. But let me show you real quick how many I've actually exported. So I've got 800. I've exported about 62 since I've had it for about a month. So now I'm not using it all the time for that. And that's probably why I haven't actually fully upgraded to a different premium or a different package or whatever, because I'm still kind of in that growing phase of this. Do I want to go basically from my current editing software, which is Adobe, Bridge, Raw, Photoshop, to Evoto? Yeah, I think I actually do, just seeing what I'm seeing. But there are some things that I'm still kind of like stuck in the old way and not ready to jump to the new way yet, which is just all Evoto. But I think Evoto is where I'm headed. And when that happens, I will definitely, probably, probably, I will definitely be upgrading the package because there's no way I could do a whole year on 800 exports. I have a lot more photos that I push out than just 800 every year. So I would have to have something more than that. Um, but I think that Evoto, for me, at least in this growing stage, is software that I'm going to use to supplement and help in my editing. I know how to edit in Photoshop. I can do it. I've been doing it. Do I actually need Evoto? I don't need it, but man, it makes life so much easier. And I'm going to have a video shortly after this that's going to show you some of the little things that they just have in this that just, and I'm going to go through the clicks and just show you how easy it actually is uh, to use. I mean, it's really simple to use. So again, I've got 742 credits remaining for the year. Will I go through that? Possibly, 60 a month, so 720. So I could be right at 800 if I'm doing 60 a month, but that's not going to be the case. I know that I'm going to have some bigger months where I'm using the background tool specifically for studio work. So also knowing that it's not 800 a month, I'm going to have to kind of rearrange my mind on what I'm actually going to use Evoto to export. I could bump it up. And so bumping it up a tier, I think it was going to double the credits, which I think the double the credits would probably be okay. It's $11 a month, which that's not bad at all. And probably for what I do, I might be able to get away with it. I think where I'm going to lean is probably this middle tier right here at $20 a month. But I think that's a little bit of a ways off for me just yet. I think I could get away for sure with 3600, knowing the studio work that I do now. If I needed to do a lot more studio work, then I've got to go up higher. So that's one of the drawbacks again of using this software. You've got to be connected online because it's using cloud basically. It's using the internet. It's using servers to be able to do what it's actually doing. It's using AI to do what it does. So it's not its own standalone. But again, for what this actually does and what it can do, it's amazing. But enough of that. Let's kind of walk through this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and import a couple images. I'm going to use those in the next video, but I want to go ahead and import some images just so we can kind of walk through the software a little bit easier. Because as you can see, my edit tab is not allowing me to go into the edit menu or the edit tools without actually having images in here. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't want to create a project. You can use on the newest version, you can use culling now. So just like you would use Lightroom to cull images and all that kind of stuff, they've got culling in here. I haven't used that yet, and I don't know exactly when, but I'll probably end up doing a video on it because I've never really done it that way. So I want to see how it's actually going to work. But yeah, so it's got culling now, AI tools within the culling to where it's going to pull out like out of focus shots, duplicate shots, closed eye shots. It's going to be able to analyze all that. Again, I haven't tested it yet, so I don't know really how good it is. But so I'm not going to create a project. I'm just going to import some images. I've already got some images that I plan to work with. So I'm going to just import those and this one. And so now we've got some images imported. There we go. Those are images. All right, so you see me work on this one already, but I'm going to show you some stuff on that one. But anyway, so now that we've got the edit tab open, because here's your library, you can kind of see what you're working with. You've got your folders and everything here. So if you were creating a project, you would have all of your folders on this bottom left hand side, and my guess is you can add to it and add other stuff. Yeah, import folders. You got your collections, your bins. Again, I haven't used this. I don't have a whole lot of time in this. I'm still kind of going into it. I've got more than an hour like I did in the last video. And I'm definitely seeing the bonuses of having this software. I mean, it really is a great software. But I spend all of my time in the edit tab. So let's kind of go over this tab. And I'm really, in this video, I'm going to just kind of walk you through the software. So we've got your color adjustments. So here, if you're bringing in your raw images, you can do your color adjustments right here. If I wanted to import presets, I can import presets. I don't use presets, so we can do like that. Filters, I can do these filters. I don't do any of that. I edit all of my color. I edit all of my images. And this is the one thing that I'm still not that I'm not sold on yet, but I can't get out of the old way. I really like what I can do with camera raw to get my images where I want them. And this does not give me everything that I use yet. I can get them there, but this one thing that's really kind of keeping me still with 2 feet in 2 different camps, right? So, but again, you can adjust your colors and change them here. These are all just raw images. And so I can do an auto if I wanted to do an auto, and then kind of tweak from there. I'll just go back to add shot, just kind of play around with it, just so you can see. I'm not editing this the way I would edit. I'm just kind of giving you the idea. So you got your exposure. We could go a little bit darker, add some contrast to it, brightness, of course. Just like any other color adjustment tool that's in like a software like this. So literally, when I opened up the software for the first time, it gave me a couple prompts that went across the screen to kind of give me an idea of what it was, just like a quick little tutorial. I went through that in like 6 or 7 minutes, if that, and then I was able to actually work in the software. Super, super user friendly. And I would be saying that whether they were sponsoring the video or not. Um, clarity, dehaze, you know, all of this stuff. You see most of the stuff in like Camera Raw or Lightroom. So very much, this is very similar tools. You know, my favorite is always to go to 17 and 4 here for whatever reason. I don't know why I do that. Maybe it's my own little whatever. But then you got your curves, adjustments. You know, you can mess with those. HSL, color grading, your midtones, your shadows, your highlights, details. I'm really just, again, I'm walking through this. You know, your color noise reduction, your noise reduction. I need to test out that noise reduction, see how good that is. Grain, lens corrections, very, very similar again to what Camera Raw has, and I'm assuming Lightroom has. More, and then color calibration, you know, stuff like that. So that is your color adjustments tool. Then you've got your portrait retouching tool. This one is where many, many portrait photographers are going to work right in here. So for this little model here, you know, she's young. She doesn't have a whole lot of blemishes. We don't have to worry about that too much. So let me see if I can find one that's got some issues. No, that one's not too bad. Of course, none of them actually had a whole lot of issues with blemishes and stuff like that. But you can basically, you know, it's super quick. You're going to come in here. You can see already it softens the skin. If you want to retain the freckles, you just pull that back, and you're going to get some of those freckles back, and then you can adjust. It's got mole removals. You know, you can reduce the face shine if you've got highlights that you need to reduce the shine. It fixes bags. Let's actually see what it's going to do to those. Well, that's fantastic. Again, I'm not editing the photo. I'm just showing you the tools. Yeah, I had one model that I worked with that did have just naturally bags under the eyes. This would have been great because I had to edit those out every time. They were very distinguished bags, and it was just like she was like, this is something my parents have, blah 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 blah. So remove glasses glare. I'm going to show you that one. That one's fantastic. Lips, wrinkles, flakes, double chin. It's got this is new. Look at that. I mean, she doesn't have a double chin, but it's fantastic. Fantastic, just to kind of refine and fix that a little bit. You can reduce some of the shadow in there. Face wrinkles, she really doesn't have any face wrinkles. So let's go to my older model here, or my older client here. And let's just see how that looks. Forehead wrinkles. You'll notice when you make any change, Evoto watermarks will pop right up. And basically, again, those watermarks are going to be in the photos as long as you're working on them until you export. Once you export, the watermark goes away. So you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, forehead wrinkles, that's pretty good. 11 lines, she's got the 11 lines right here. Fantastic, man, beautiful. Eye wrinkles, let's see. Now, I don't do a lot of editing like this because my thought is I want you to look as close to you as possible. So more than likely, I'm not going to use a lot of these tools. I might soften just a little bit. Those 11s can be rough, you know, right there in the middle. So I would probably soften those a little bit. I feel like the eye wrinkles, I would probably bring some of those back. Nasal wrinkles, I don't see a whole lot. Smile lines, she's got some smile lines, but they're not too bad. You can unlock them if she's got more on one side than the other. Cheek wrinkles, this is apparently new. Let's just see how that works. It looks like it's affecting up in here. Okay, marionette lines. Again, I'm just kind of going through it. Okay, so peroral, man, that's a word right there. These wrinkles right in here. And it looks like maybe some in here. Body blemishes, neck wrinkles. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it softens them a little bit. I don't, again, I probably won't use that too much. And what it's doing is it's pulling out of some of the contrast that's in there. Armpit touch up. That's actually probably not a bad one. Let's see. Do I have anything? Let's see how that actually looks with armpit touch up. Yeah, again, it's pulling out some of the contrast in there. I've had some where I've got a lot of stuff that's going on in the armpit, and armpit touch up might actually be kind of nice. Stomach stretch marks. I don't have anybody in here that's going to show stomach stretch marks, so I wouldn't be able to tell you whether that works or not. Skin touching. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Oh, still trying to figure out the zoom in, zoom out on this. You basically have to zoom in with the plus, zoom out with the minus. You can get it back to normal with fit. I'm used to like the control or command 0 to go back to normal, which is what I'm used to, but it doesn't seem to work that way. Moving around is just a click and move. But let's see here. We've got body scan. I wanted to actually go up to the face. Facial wrinkles, body refinement, skin retouching, facial skin. So we can soften again. You can see it's super easy, and I'm not going to fully edit like I keep telling you. I'm not fully editing. I'm just showing you what the tools can do. Textured smoothing, that should give you some of that. Soften the texture a little bit in there. You've got your frequency separation, giving you some of that texture. Get the high frequencies you can mess with, low frequencies you can mess with. Again, not doing a full-on edit here. Skin softening. So we're making her look like porcelain right now. I try not to do that. I think sometimes I do a little bit too much, and so I try to tone it down. And that's where one of those things is I still feel like I have a little bit more control with what I'm seeing in Photoshop, but that could just be old, not wanting to change. This video is already getting a lot longer than what I wanted it to be. So body skin, so now we can start to adjust that. Frequency separation on the skin. This is really nice. This is really nice to be able to do that. You can see it just looks really good on her skin there. You've got skin texture, so you can do that. Skin tone. Basically, it can kind of even out that complexion a little bit. Body complexion. Maybe there's a lot of blotchy skin. That can help. Skin tone. I actually did use this one the other day, and I didn't think it looked too bad. So I just gave her a little bit of a tan right there. So fairly pale complexion, and I just want to give her a little bit more color. And it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Pretty good. Facial reshape. I don't ever do this. Man, that's pretty cool. You can see what's happening right there. Really, really cool. Left or right. Eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth. You can do all kinds of reshaping. And again, I can see where some people do that. I don't really do it a lot. When people ask if I will actually shape their skin or thin them down, my normal first answer is no, I will not, because that's not who you are. Yes, they're still paying clients, but that's not the work that I like to do. And typically, if they ask that before the shoot, my answer is no. If they ask it after the shoot, I'm going to say it's not something I typically do. So I cannot promise that it's going to look good. But as you can see, you've got, face size, jaw length, face width, hairline, forehead height. I mean, it's just so much information. Facial expression. I'm never really going to change some of these facial expression. Teeth. Let's see. I don't know if I have one with teeth. No, we do have one with teeth. So let's actually come in here and just show this. Remove flaws. Fantastic. So this woman right here, she had like a little dark spot in here, and I ended up kind of correcting it in Photoshop as opposed to in here, because what this is doing is this is working the teeth. It's not really working the gums. I don't want it to be like blaring white, but you've got teeth alignment, eyes, remove glare. Oh, I might as well do that right here. I might as well do that right here. Look at this. Look at that. It's gone. Literally, it's gone. What would take a little bit of time is gone within a second of a slider. Like, it's absolutely incredible. I don't remove red veins from eyes. I just don't. I think that's ridiculous. Makeup, I have not looked at this yet, but you can apparently add or adjust makeup in here. It's absolutely fantastic. Hair, I do like the hair stuff that we've got. Let's see, we've got strays. She's got some strays over here. Let's see how this is going to work on these strays. Incredible. Incredible. You can also do hair strays outside of the character or outside of the figure, and then also maybe she's got some that are kind of coming on the forehead, and we can try to adjust those within the character lines or the figure lines. Smooth hair, hair shine, that type of thing. Hands, you can adjust hands, even it out, hand veins. Ugh, still trying to figure that out, but I don't show her hands in here, so I haven't really been able to do that. And then body reshaping. I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan of this at all. I just do not like doing it. You know, this image here, we can go thinner, we can go bigger. Body, height. It's so funny to make somebody taller. Let's see here. Leg, the thighs, we can thin down the thighs. I mean, if you do it reasonably, you know, maybe that's not that big of a deal. And again, people do how you want to do. If you want to do that with your clients, that's fine. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying I don't. So if that's something that you want to do with your clients, fantastic, do it. It's just not something that I typically do. And again, remember, here's the fun thing. Man, we've really only gone through 2, and it's 22 minutes long already. Man, that's nuts. So I'm actually going to go ahead and jump out of this video because this video is way too long. People aren't just going to sit here and watch this whole thing. Yeah, the software is powerful. It's very, very powerful. No, let's just quickly go through it. So we've got background changers. So here's where the studio stuff comes in handy. I've kind of showed you this already. I'm not going to go into that too much. But what's really cool is, and I haven't really tried it yet, but you know, we can change our background. But I want to show you this real quick too. We're going to change our background to this. I don't think it's fully right, you know, but I haven't even played with it. But here's the one cool thing that I really kind of thought was pretty neat. So by changing that, we actually lose her shadow. But let's keep the shadow. Let's retain that original shadow. So that original shadow is kind of back. And now we're going to adjust it and tweak it down. And we're going to kind of play with that shadow and see what we want with that shadow back. Man, that helps right there. Just getting the shadow back right there makes it so much more natural. Sky replacement. Let's look at this sky replacement real quick. And again, this is in the background. So we've got color adjustments. We've got portrait retouching, background adjustments. This is going to be a long video. Sorry, I was going to do 2, but I think it's going to, I think we're just going to go 1. So let's see here. Let's go recommended. I don't ever do I don't ever do a sky replacement. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it. I don't feel like they're natural. But let's just see how this is going to look. Let's go this way. Not bad, not bad. So what I'm also looking at is this over here. And so what I noticed right away with that is I'm losing those power lines. So look at the power lines over here. Let's zoom into that. So we lose the power lines. Now we could probably bring some of that back. Yep, I brought some of it back by changing the opacity on it. Where did that go? Oh, right there, yeah. Yeah. The other thing too is some people, when they do these sky replacements, they go with something like, and I want something that doesn't have any blur at all. So everything is like crisp and in focus. When you, what you have to also take into consideration is how the cameras work, and so you might need to do a little bit of a blur, and so that's what I've done right there, is a little bit of a blur. So take some of that stuff into account when you're doing that kind of stuff. Again, I don't do it, but these actually look pretty good, not too bad. I'm going to tweak it to it still needs to look natural. We've got some of those power lines back in there, so that's good. That's good. Um, that's not too bad. Again, I don't do them typically. They have not looked natural in the past when I see them. One time I saw, and it's fairly recent, a photographer I really like. He did a sky replacement, and so he's got the person that's walking towards the camera. The sky replacement shows the sun hitting from the rear, but then the shadow is completely going the wrong way. So the sun is basically here. It's trying to mimic the sun a little bit, but the shadow is completely off. And so that's what I say is these guide replacements, sometimes they just don't look right. So just be careful with that kind of stuff. Let's see here, clothing. Let's go to de-wrinkle clothing. So I'm going to do two real fast on this. So I did a video with her recently. We're going to de-wrinkle the clothing here and see what it actually does. And so we'll go back to that original. You can see some of that, and it pulls some of it out. Now, some of that is some pretty big wrinkles. So you can kind of adjust in here. So you can see if we come in here, we see a little bit more of this texture in here. If I go all the way to 100, it loses some of that deep wrinkles, but it's not pulling some of these. That's okay. But here's the one that I actually worked on the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't use Evoto for the photo. And I was going in and doing it all myself, and then I was thinking, wait a minute, why am I not using Evoto for this? And so I went in and used the Evoto for this. Check this out, deblemished clothing. Boom, all the little hair fuzzes and all that kind of stuff is gone. Like within seconds gone. I literally spent so much time working on that. It's like, oh goodness, like every one of the edits that was close enough to see that kind of stuff, I had to pull them out. And so kind of what I've seen is it will pull out fur, lint and stuff like that. Man, that's incredible. That's fantastic to do stuff like that. Cropping, you can go through and do cropping stuff. You've got your cropping tool here. I have not really used that. Camera information, this basically is just some of your information, I guess. You can do wired and wireless tethering now. It's not something I've done yet. Maybe I ought to give it a try and see. And then let's see here, an import tutorial. So that's kind of it. It looks like I can import my RAWs and my JPEGs. Yeah. So that's a quick rundown of the editing tools in Evoto. And I say quick, and we're at 28 minutes, so I'm going to jump out of here. But thank you so much for watching. Evoto is here. I think it's here to stay. If you're not on board with it, you need to check it out. It's worth checking out. Do you have to use it to where you're spending $40 a month on it? No, I don't think so. But I do think, because Adobe is expensive. Adobe software is expensive. I don't know actually what I pay a month. And I actually get a discount on it because I've got people that got the .edu address in my family, so I'm able to kind of use that for a little bit of the discount. But let's go back here real fast. What's the big one? So $100 a month. That's close to what Adobe's charging. You can use this, like if you're not putting out 12,000 credits a year, you don't need that. But it's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's still not a bad price if you're able to completely get rid of Adobe, which I don't think you can, because you're not editing video in this, and I edit video also. So again, just know kind of what you're getting. It's not, like I said, like I thought, 800 every month. It's 800 a year. So more than likely I'm going to have to upgrade. It says the most popular package is 1600. I think it's worth it even at the $11. I think it's worth it at the $20. I'm just not ready to go to the $20 yet. So you have to make the call whether you can start working into your workflow. In the next video, I want to do some of the negatives that I think that I see about it. But again, that's because I still have 2 feet in 2 camps. 1 feet in both camps, whatever that is. If you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. That way you can see videos every time I post them. And please share the videos. Follow me on Instagram. It's j.island_photographer. Subscribe. Until next time, keep shooting. Bye.